What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Yes, you guys are seeing correctly. I do not have eyebrows. I know some of y'all like wiping off your screens. Like, is the lighting hitting Renji's face a different way this week? No, I really don't have any eyebrows right now. If you caught last week's episode, we talked about my cousin passing away from COVID. The funeral was a couple days ago, and I was one of the chosen ones to be a monk to bless him and carry his spirit into the next world. So that is why I have no eyebrows. Long story short, process of becoming a monk. First thing you got to do, shave off all your facial hair. That includes your beard, mustache, eyebrows, and all the hair off your head. You're pretty much giving up your identity to become a monk. Y'all better get used to this no eyebrow look for a couple episodes until my eyebrows grow back. Also, thank you so much for everyone that has reached out to us with your condolences, well wishes. Appreciate it so much.
Appreciate you.
You helped us get through a very hard time. And if y'all missed my Instagram story or my Facebook post, the funeral was a 7-day process. And being a monk was a part of that 7-day process. So thank you once again, guys. All right, with all that said, now y'all know the backstory. Let's get to today's topic. Vaccines are out. States are opening back up, which means events are opening back up. In the latest of convention and cosplay news, Colossalcon has announced they are going to continue with their plans for 2021. For those that don't know, Colossalcon is a summer convention in Sandusky, Ohio. This year, it is taking place June 2nd through the 6th, if I'm correct. It will be held at the Kalahari Resort, just like it has in previous years. It's very outdoorsy. There's an indoor water park and an outdoor water park for those that don't know. Of course, with a con being opening up so soon as this summer, a lot of controversy is sparking across the cosplay and convention crowd world. Naturally, a lot of people have expressed their concerns, writing to Colossalcon, please reschedule, please cancel till next year, while others are going the other route and saying, y'all pieces of shit, Colossalcon, y'all need to burn. How dare you hold your convention during such a time when COVID is still hitting so hard?
So what you guys need to understand, though, is Colossalcon is literally locked in a contract. They have to either hold their convention this year or they'll just lose out on money because they can't roll over to next year like how they did last year. Pretty much if the government says it's safe to do so, if it's safe to hold a convention, then they're going to have to do it.
If y'all remember last year, Colossalcon waited till the very last minute to cancel. This was a similar reason. They had to hear what the state had to say, which passed down to the venue, which passed down to them. A lot of conventions were in that struggle as well. They were getting yelled at by their fans and their supporters. Why are you having this convention? Why are you having this convention? But their hands were tied.
Right.
If they canceled before they got to okay from the governor or the local government, they would lose out on money because they broke the contract. As of the time of this recording, that's what I'm hearing from people who are behind the scenes at Colossalcon. They're being held on to a tight contract. They rolled it over from last year to this year. Made sense because COVID was booming. I mean, it's still booming. But now this year, Ohio's like, we opening back up. So, oh well.
Especially with the vaccine being out there and people getting it. And it's almost readily available for everybody. And they're pretty much just not having any more sympathy.
Needless to say, the cosplay community is up in arms. Facebook is on fire. Everyone just has an opinion. It's wild, y'all. Like, people are on all sides of this battle. Some of it makes sense. Some of it's just stupid. But at the state we're in, I'm not surprised by any of it.
Right.
So many people do not understand what a contract means. You're legally obligated or you have to deal with a penalty. In this case, it's monetary. They're going to lose out on a lot of money. But yet, some cosplayers are like, no, burn down the con. You're not going to do this.
God.
And some people are getting harsh. I get it. They're rooting for health. They want their peers to be safe. So, of course, they're going to be mad that this convention is still going on. But yet, they don't understand the other side of it.
Right.
This convention is in a very tough spot. Like all conventions coming up this summer and fall. Unfortunately, this is going to be the norm. Depending on what state your favorite convention is in, they're going to have to face a similar choice. 2020 already shut down so many of your favorite little cons. They're gone for good. Some cons can't take losing their money for canceling.
As a cosplayer, you have the shitty choice of either going to support the convention because you don't want it to close or not going and rallying against it and just watching it burn to the ground on its own, you know? I'm in such a gray area with this whole thing. It's like you want to support the business because that's what we do with restaurants and small businesses. You want to go out there and support them, but isn't that kind of the same thing? Like you're going out of your way to go to these places, even though you know you shouldn't. A convention is a large gathering. I get that. But on the same note, I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's like everything goes in that same box to me.
It starts with support your local restaurants, then support your local businesses, which means going in the stores. And then now it's going to a bigger level. Support your events that only happen maybe once a year. Like, what do you do now that some people are fully vaccinated already? They're like, well, I feel safe. Why can't I go? And where does that line draw? And especially for people like us who also attend cons on a professional level, this extends to Artist Alley or anyone that's ever been a guest at a con. They are stuck in that boat too. A lot of entertainers, a lot of dealers and sellers, and they have gone over a year without making any money the way they normally would. So it is a tough position. Like I said, a lot of our favorite cons across the country are done for good. They're never coming back.
Right.
They were already struggling to begin with, and they were getting by on badge sales. So we bring that back to Colossalcon. Who's the bad guy here in this situation? Is it the convention for still going on, knowing they're putting so many of their attendees at risk? Let's just be real. Despite the best efforts, there's no way any convention, not just Colossalcon, any convention, there's no way they have the manpower or the budget to enforce safety to its full potential. They may have their standard temperature checks at the door and put little arrows down, go this way only. That doesn't even work at grocery stores right now.
I don't even be seeing those arrows on the ground half the time. I'm like, oh no. I went the wrong way. Unintentionally.
I always notice it by the third arrow. Shit, I'm going the wrong way. And there's always some old lady coming the right way, always judging, like,
I know, it's like, lady, I'm just trying to get some soup and some rice and some, whatever I need.
I don't know, the old lady.
The floor.
The old lady looking at us like, I'm more blind than Sasuke and Sakura's daughter, and I can still see these lines on the ground.
Right.
And that's how it be, though. These stores have their protocols in place, but there's no one there to enforce it.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you go in any store, there's a big old sign, no mask, no entry.
It's like more of a suggestion. Like,
yeah. It's more of a suggestion because y'all still be seeing people go to stores with no masks on.
Oh, yeah. Full on. No mask, no nothing.
So is the convention the bad guy? Is the venue the bad guy for not pushing back? From what I hear, the Kalahari Resort is a shitty organization anyway. I don't know that for a fact, so don't quote me, but people just tell me.
People say shit all the time.
Yeah. Any Kalahari Resort.
Oh, yeah.
The one in Ohio, the one in Wisconsin. I just hear bad things about the business practices. Are they not even caring? Do they just want to make the money? Are they the bad guy? Or is the local government the bad guy? Are they the ones that are putting all of you at risk? You can't really get mad at people for allowing them to do stuff.
Yeah, you can't get mad for people being allowed to do certain things. And that's just gonna have to come with your own personal judgment, I feel like I said before, like, how do you feel going to a grocery store? How do you feel going out of your way to support local and small businesses? To me, it's the same thing, and like it's really hard to like put myself in that situation. Like, what would I do as a person who has a small business and can't make any money, and now the stimulus and the government aid is drying up and it's going fast, and it's like, what do you do after that? How do you make money? How do you survive? So I really couldn't say.
Even on a non-business end, your local state government is allowing people to do stuff. Technically, they're not breaking the law. They're not doing anything wrong.
They're not doing like speakeasy kind of stuff, under the table.
And people were doing that in California. People were wanting to go to clubs so hard.
I know.
We had friends that were Instagramming like underground strip clubs. These girls just popping booty and popping in parking lots, and there's crack pipes on the ground. It was bad.
Honestly, if people weren't dying from COVID, I would want to do something like that. But it's just the fact that, it's very taboo, and like people just want to stay out the way. Honestly, I would at least try if I was one of those people who had to work the convention and had to be there. I would at least go and try to make money and do the best that I could do to not create a bigger problem and try to stand by protocols. I would at least try, you know?
But on that end, though, as a person out there to make money, you need consumers, you need customers to come out.
Yeah.
So then now you're advertising, telling your followers, your supporters to come see you at this event.
But there's still people out there who are still thinking COVID's not real and still want to go
Yeah.
out there and have a good time. So it's like, is it a shitty idea to try to exploit those kind of people and put them in danger? And it's your life, your rules, do what you want to do, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point too. It's like you could just exploit those kind of people. Like that could be a business tactic because those people were gonna come out anyway.
Just be like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
And just have it anyway and exploit those people.
Yeah, so then you can't feel bad about that because they were already out there.
Uh-huh.
You might as well be the one to take their money.
But it's still an iffy thing. But if I was an employee, owner of a small business, I would at least try.
Yeah.
Especially if I had the vaccine, if I was just following all the rules and still being safe about it,
Yeah.
I would try.
And the last one is, are the cosplayers and attendees the bad guys? Technically, they're just there to have fun. They're just there to have a good time. They may or may not spend money on anything else except having a good time. They may not be buying anything. Are they the bad guys for just saying, yeah, I'm just here because I'm bored?
Like certain people will go out of their way just to consume these things, just to have that a part of their lives again. Going to conventions is the bread and butter for some people. If you told these people, if you gave them a strict rule book on what you can do and what you can't do, they would go by it religiously and just be there.
There was a controversy of a member of a con, like he was one of the chairmen or just one of the management.
Mm-hmm.
He's been traveling to every out-of-state convention that's been open during the pandemic, and he's been all on Instagram about it.
Oh my
That's how he got exposed.
Uh-huh.
The controversial response that he gave was, why am I getting in trouble for something that's being allowed to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to these states where these events are legally happening. I'm following all the guidelines. You guys may have pictures of me at this event, but is there one of me not wearing a mask?
Did those same people take pictures of consumers at Universal Florida and Disney? How is that any different?
Yeah.
How is that any different? Except at Disney and Universal, you can ride rides, you can buy food, you can be more in the area, more than you need to be than him at a convention following guidelines.
Well, according to Disney California, you're not allowed to scream on rides, so...
Well, that's California, but Florida hasn't shut down since the pandemic first started. And I'm just saying, like, if those same people can get mad at that guy, where are those same people at Universal Florida?
Oh, yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah, because I've seen people still buy tickets to go to Florida during the pandemic, and they're not getting yelled at.
And those are the same people probably at Florida right now, riding all the rides.
When it came to this guy, just because he was a con chairman, he became a target. He's allowed to go. It's not recommended you travel.
Right.
But these events were allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Speaking of people who are out there just allowing people to do whatever they want to do, there's a restaurant locally in this small town. There's this local restaurant. It's like a diner style kind of makeshift Denny's kind of thing where there's like an all-American restaurant where
Yeah,
they
like
sell
a diner,
pizza,
cafe,
breakfast and all that kind of stuff. And the restaurant owner, since the very start of COVID and the quarantine and everything, did not comply with any of the laws, did not comply with any of the rules. Even when restaurants were being told to shut down for a while to quarantine, this restaurant stayed open. I won't say her name and I won't say the name of the restaurant, but the lady that owns the restaurant she just opened her doors saying, it's my right and it's my consumers who come to my restaurant's rights. If they want to get sick or if they want to be out and they don't want to follow the rules either, they're more than welcome to come here. I'm not going to enforce masks. I'm not going to enforce social distancing. I'm not even going to close. I'm just going to be open no matter what you say.
Damn.
And that was like when quarantine first happened, like when they were doing like the big lockdowns and the curfews and everything. In the midst of all that, she's just like, nope, I'm not doing any of that. Anybody who wants to come here can come here, and I'm not going to lose any money from it, and I don't give a single F at all. So the government was just like trying to comply with this lady. They're trying to be sympathetic to her because they understood. They understood that this was a small business and nobody in the area was allowed to be open. And they felt bad, of course, because there's no other way for this person to make money. Yeah. That's just what she does. Like, it's a small town and everybody knows her. COVID just became worse and worse and worse. And they're like, lady, honestly, for your own sake and for everybody else's safety, we need you to close down. We need you to at least, if you don't want to shut down, at least make people wear masks, at least social
Yeah.
distance your tables and everything. Have people sit outside like how they were starting to do. And she's like, no, I'm not doing any of that because that's going to cause
Damn.
more trouble for me than it is for anybody else. Anybody who comes here doesn't care about COVID. I don't care about COVID, so I'm just going to do what I want to do. She did not want to cooperate at all.
Yeah.
Long story short, the government just lost their temper with her and was like, you're going to owe us fines. You're going to go to jail. Keep this up, and we're going to remove you from this place.
Yeah.
Still, nope, I'm not going anywhere. You're going to have to
Damn.
remove me. All right. That's exactly what the police did. She was so embarrassed because she was in the midst. It was like rush hour, like lunchtime or whatever.
Damn.
These people came in, pretty much bear hugged her, scooped her up out of the restaurant, and put her in the back of the paddy wagon.
Damn.
And just hauled her ass to jail.
They didn't even let her finish her shift.
No. She got carried out. Like, this article that I was reading specified she got carried out of her own restaurant and thrown right in jail. Did not pass go. Did not collect $200, and then slapped her with a, I want to say, $100,000 lawsuit and fines. And I'm like, well, that's what you get. Like, they've been telling you for a year and a half now to shut down. And if you don't want to shut down, at least make people wear masks. That's all she had to do.
Yeah.
But she was just like, no, it's my right. It's everybody else's right. If they want to come here and eat and just feel comfortable and nobody cares about COVID. And now look where she's at.
Yeah.
She owes more money in fines than she ever made in that restaurant. So
Yeah.
hope it was worth it.
Yeah. For the record, this restaurant is in a state that is doing really poorly with new cases of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the top 10 for worst states with new COVID cases right now.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it is one of these Midwest states that people feel this way.
Right.
Because she was trying to capitalize on being a rebel. She was trying to get those type of customers who were just like, yeah, we're going to stand with you. Just like that Santa's Village story we told you months ago about how they didn't care about the COVID restrictions either. They were trying to make a worldwide statement why their Santa's Village deserved to be open, and people were showing them support. So I get where she was going with it. At some point, she should have just shut up. One of our friends owns a restaurant in Chicago. He told us his struggles during COVID. And long story short, you get a lot of chances before you get shut down.
Right.
He told me that a lot of restaurants were willing to risk the first couple fines. He's like, the first fine is like $100.
Right.
The second fine, $300. The third fine, $500. The fourth, $1,000. He's like, my restaurant does way more business than that. And if they want to give me a fine for going over capacity a little bit, that's fine. That's still better than me not making any money. But then he's like, I know my limits, but I've watched other restaurants on the street just push it until they got the, we're going to shut you down fine.
Oh,
and
my God.
they got shut down. Like, that's in the heart of Chicago, in the city.
Right.
Bring it back to this restaurant in the burbs. You know she had a lot of chances.
That would make sense why her fines got up to $100,000. Like, $100,000 in a small, tight-knit community? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's more money than she's ever made, ever. Like,
Yeah. At that point, it's not worth it.
yeah.
But she must have got all of the warnings before, but she just stayed stubborn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, she got what she deserved.
Her restaurant windows were covered in notices, like all the white paper, pink paper, and green everything. So she had proof of all the times they came by and said, lady, you need to shut this down right now. Otherwise, you're going to get the boot and a ticket.
Oh, man. It's like what they say. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You get the kazoo.
Has so many fines on her windows, look like Monopoly money.
Yeah.
Her doors.
It's like, I feel for small businesses, like, y'all gotta get your money, but at that point,
And because she never shut down. She
Yeah.
never listened to anything or
yeah,
just had no chill.
she didn't even try. It's one thing to not shut down, but then to promote being
Right.
unsafe, that's where she messed up.
She wasn't even allowed to be open.
Yeah.
That's the difference. At least these places, these conventions are trying to do right by the law and
Yeah.
trying to do things that,
Yeah.
that they are allowed to do. But this lady was just like, nope, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. No, your ass is in jail right now. Not making any money. In fact, you owe
Nope.
money.
Nope. That's the struggle these days.
I don't even feel bad for her, honestly.
Nah. Like Cons, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Nah, she knew what she was doing.
Yep.
She didn't even try to oblige by any rules. So you know what? Hope someone coughs in your face while you're curled up in your jail cell tonight.
Then maybe you will finally understand and believe in COVID.
The only salad you get served in jail is the ones that they toss. So you better get
Toss
rid.
salad.
They about to toss your salad. Anyways, back to Colossalcon. So speaking of rules and restrictions, let's get into some of them. I'm surprised at how many people are still willing to go. To me, just cons with these restrictions don't sound good at all.
It did start off as a very small convention. It was only local to the people who live there or in that state in general. People were at some point flocking to this convention, and it became bigger than what it actually still is to this day. Honestly, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but there's nothing special about this convention,
but
honestly.
hold it. We will get into that.
Okay, but I'm just saying in general, like it'd be one thing if it was just like a small thing and like people were just going to go there for like a day or whatever, but no, like people are trying to flock to this place.
Yeah, and we will get into that because I want to talk about what your personal thoughts are and tell my personal thoughts about this convention as well. So people, our peers, our listeners can judge for themselves if it's worth going. Let's talk about why some people are still deciding to go. People are having a hard time having their room canceled and transferred. At the time of this recording, if I read correctly, you can transfer your room to someone else or you could cancel it for a fee. It's like $80-something. All that's bullshit to me. Hotels been canceling rooms and transferring to other people's. Why is it that hard? Why does there have to be a fee involved if I want to give my room to you? Someone's still taking the room. I get if someone wants to cancel. Some of these hotels and these resorts do have a prepay policy.
Oh, you still have to pay a fee even if you want to transfer it to someone else?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I get like the cancellation because big events like Colossalcon, the rooms sell out. So to discourage people from booking 20 rooms, they make you pay for one night. That makes sense. If you cancel, you knew the risk, right? But to transfer it to someone else, I think that's some bullshit. Oh, it's going to cost you $86. To do what? Open up my file and type a new name in there?
I know, like, honestly.
That's bullshit on the resort side. Then there's the people that aren't going to go this year, but they still want to keep their room reservation and roll it over till next year. Colossalcon is one of these con room Hunger Games situations where once the rooms go live, they sell out quickly. A lot of people took days off of work to book these damn rooms.
Right.
So they want it for next year. The hotels, the resorts are just like, no, we can't do that because we already rolled it over from last year to this year and our systems don't allow it to roll over again.
Yes, if you made the exception last year.
Yeah, we lost data in the process.
No, you didn't. That's not how it works. I used to work in a hotel. I worked both sides. I know the accounting side. I know the front desk side. I know all the sides. That doesn't happen.
Okay, so if your system doesn't allow you to easily roll it over, what about just writing everyone's name down?
Yeah.
Taking their name off a reservation, putting that name back in
That's happened
for
too.
a new reservation.
I can vouch for that.
Like, how did you do it before the click rollover button or the changing date button?
Hotels, at least the one I worked for, had a paper log and a digital log of everything.
Yeah, so that's bullshit too.
Bullshit.
Their system won't roll it over. Okay, but what about canceling it and rebooking it for next year? You could do that.
You can do that.
Without charging them a fee.
You can do that.
Because even if you do get charged a fee, every Karen out there knows you can argue your way out of any fee. Really?
They just don't want to do it because it would be a hassle, but honestly, it's just for one convention.
Yeah.
It's not that many people. Like, I wouldn't think that it would take that long because that's happened to my hotel before too. But it was for a banquet that was that size. So it's like, it could be done. They just don't want to do it.
That is exactly it. They don't want to do it. And that's what I feel too. So I think that's such bullshit that they're just like, no, we can't do it. No, y'all can do anything you want. Y'all got 2 months to figure it out too.
It's not a thing. Trust me. It's not a thing.
People are just up in the air. They also have the pressure of the people rooming with them. Do you let all these people down and not go and then screw over all your roommates?
What you do is cancel the credit card that you booked the room under and then just say, I don't know what happened to the card.
Yeah.
I don't have another card. I can't just go and get a new one since you can't just take me off of the list, you know?
Yeah, you could do that, but like I said, but then all your roommates are gonna be so pissed at you.
I'm just saying, very last resort. If that's what
Yeah.
you got to do, just be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. They got plenty of time to figure it out. So
Oh, yeah.
if I were y'all and y'all really want to cancel, I would just pull a Karen and just let me talk to your manager and just call him and just bitch. Something will happen. Seems to work at a grocery store, so why wouldn't it work at a resort?
Just cause hell.
Yeah.
I want to speak to your manager and your manager's manager's manager.
Hmm.
All right, Karen.
Works for them. All right, now let's get into some of the health protocols put in place that's going to make this convention, quote unquote, safe. I'm just going to read them off my phone since I don't really have them memorized. So as we go through the list, we'll just kind of chime in how we feel. So the badge sales will be capped off at 7,000. Holy moly.
Holy shit.
7,000 does sound like a big number,
Oh, yeah.
but as Shana said earlier, that's not a big number in compared to pre-pandemic days.
Hmm.
Like 7,000 is like a blessing. 7,000 is like what cons used to be in like 07, 08. I remember, I forgot, was it YomaCon or OhioCon in 07, 08? And people were just like, oh my God, this con has 5,000 people. It's so big.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Fast forward to us going to Anime Expo, not last year, but the year before. They're like, Anime Expo reached 150,000 people. That's
Yeah.
a small town.
Yeah.
That's your city. So 7,000 is not much, especially for an event that has an outdoor area as well.
And it's not 7,000 people at a time. It's going to be like total.
Yeah, capped off sales. So luckily, the Colossalcon area as a whole, when you include the hotels, the water parks, and everything there has to offer, that's a pretty big space. So 7,000 may not seem so bad because I've gone to conventions where it's just 7,000 people, but it's like 5 hallways and that's it, and a lobby.
Yeah.
They will be only offering 4-day badges. That's a good move. You have to commit and really want to go to spend the money for 4-day badges. There's no 1-day looky-loos. I'm going to just show up. And masks are mandated indoors and outside within 6 feet of others who aren't in your room group. Please don't remove masks while outside. That sounds good on paper. You must wear a mask when around other people besides your group. Okay. So who is going to regulate who's a part of your group?
Exactly.
It doesn't say how big your group can be. Legally, some of these rooms can only fit 4, 6. You get a villa, 12? But I'm just saying, this group could be 4. This group could be 30. How do you know that's 30 people in one room? Which isn't even a surprise for a regular-ass room. That's kind of gross, but anyways. Or 30 in a villa, or just 30 random strangers grouped together. That is a definitely concern. Because you're allowing people to not have masks. And what, are you going to ask everyone to bust out their reservations? And I don't think that's going to work.
Right.
Temperature checks will be performed at every entry. That's doable. It's going to take you a long time to get in, but that's doable. There will be a one-way traffic flow around the convention center.
Really?
Yeah. We already talked about that at a grocery store. Yeah. Separate entrances and exits for each room in the convention center. That's doable. Panel rooms restricted to 25%. That's also doable, but you're going to have a bunch of pissed off people who can't go to see their favorite panel. In addition to room cleaning, disinfectant products will be provided to panelists and other attendees. People don't even shower and disinfect themselves.
Yeah, unless you put them in like a decontainment shower or whatever.
They're going to have to walk in this like Ziploc bag room and they're going to spray you with white mist as seen in the movies.
Like in Fallout.
Decontamination complete. Yeah, I mean, at least they're offering it. I mean, they offer people showers and rooms, but people don't even do that.
No.
There will be no bus shuttle service this year. That's smart. There will be no organizing group photo shoots. Ouch. What is a con to most cosplayers without group photo shoots?
I feel like conventions nowadays with the whole COVID restrictions are going to be going back to like the old days where people didn't dress up and people only went for like a show or a conference or a, like where they didn't really do that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Gather for group pictures and stuff.
Where there were more attendees than cosplayers.
Right.
Yeah, that may be a shift in culture.
It's going to be more like a showcase.
But that's also going to be a drop in attendance, like big time. If the cap wasn't enough, like a lot of people only go to cons to cosplay now.
Yeah.
Or to see cosplayers. And so that's going to be interesting because you can't do group shoots and people go to these things because that's their chance to do shoots with other cosplayers from the same anime and stuff. I don't think that's going to go well. I think people will still organize their own shoots. There just won't be official meetups. Like, you know how every con has official times for stuff. I think they're still going to happen. Because, again, who's going to stop them?
Right.
Hallways should stay in motion to help with flow. Staff may ask you to move along if concerns arise. Nah. Nah, that's not going to work. They're going to try. But, again, cosplaying is a part of the experience.
I'm waiting for you to get to the rule that says no cosplay. Oh, P.S. No cosplay.
Because people are going to stop you to take pictures. Cons already yell at you for stopping the flow of traffic.
Do you remember at ASIN when you had to walk through the tunnels to get to one place to another, and people would still stop in those same tunnels and take pictures and hold up everybody in the tunnels? Yeah. And those tunnels did not have windows or doors or anything. So if you're stuck in the middle of that damn tunnel while somebody in front of you is taking a picture, that's just it.
If a guy 50 feet in front of you farts, it's going right in your mouth in that tunnel.
Yep.
Like there's no ventilation. It's just fart to mouth all day long. And I'm not going to lie. I've been the douche that has stopped for a picture. You don't think there's anyone behind you, but people creep up behind you quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone out of my way to look behind me and be like, okay, go quickly. But then you always get the photographers that don't know how to turn on a camera and they want to do a whole ass shoot. And they're like, well, I'm not going to see you again. I don't know if I'm going to see you.
Just walk with me through the tunnel.
Yep, I've told people that too. I'm like, look, after my first couple years of conning, I realized, that's kind of a douche thing to do and stop. It's more of a douche thing to stop the flow of traffic than say no to a picture.
Right.
So then I started saying that. I'm like, okay, I'm walking this way. If you want my picture, come with me this way. Because in the tunnels of ASIN, there are some of those dead ends that lead to parking lots, and I will take them to the dead ends. And that's kind of a little more acceptable. But yeah, people still be stopping. They know the rules. A staff member will be like, keep it moving. And people don't stop. I've stopped in the hallways of Anime Expo because there are some people that just keep hounding you. You're like, okay, fine, just shut up and take my picture, go.
I will grab people by the hands or the arms and be like, come with me, because I'm not stopping in the middle of traffic because I hate when people do that to me.
Yeah.
So
in order to keep masks up, we'll ask that all eating and drinking be done outside of the convention center. Food and beverage sales are expected to take place outside. Huh, that's interesting.
I mean, for the most part, people do go outside for food, unless you know how they have the little hotel cafes on the inside. A lot of people will just eat that just because they don't know what else is available. Yeah. So I get that, but it's good that there's going to be designated places where people know food's outside, not inside.
Yeah,
outside. At least they're being clear about that.
Yeah, that could work because I mean, a lot of California cons are all food trucks. That's it.
Yeah.
So people are outside anyway. But then again, Southern California doesn't rain, so 99% of the time they're pretty good. they can say it's gonna be safe to eat outside, and they can.
Hey, if this convention wants to hold its convention, they're gonna have to make some changes, and they're gonna have to get more options for people to comply with the weather and make sure everyone's comfortable. If they want to do this kind of thing, they have to do this. That kind of stuff.
Don't get it twisted. Just because it's summertime. A lot of people remember the notorious Colossalcon of 2010 where it was AKA Tornado Con.
Yep, I remember that. The
city's tornado alarm went off during the con, and people were forced to go into the shelter.
It was raining so hard.
But Shana and I were off site, but that's a whole nother story that we will talk about another time because that's a fun and interesting story. But yeah. Long story short, the tornado alarm did go off and people were freaking out, blowing up our phones, but we were nowhere to be found. But y'all would just have to hear that story another day because we're not talking about that right now.
Summer in the Midwest is a lot different than summer in SoCal. So
Yeah.
there's bound to be something going on, some kind of storm, some kind of snowstorm or something going on. Because I remember one ASIN, it did snow. It wasn't a lot, but I remember it did like sprinkle a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It was
what was going on that
slush
year?
rain in
Yeah.
May. Like mid-May, it's still pretty much snowing. And that's a no.
You can never be sure what's going to happen in the Midwest.
You can't trust the Midwest weatherman.
You can't trust. I know you can't trust a sunny sky, because that sunny sky will surely turn into gray skies in like no time at all.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just rely on looking outside like how you can in California.
Yeah. Yep. We'll bring it back to the question. Support this con, risk your health, risk public backlash, or be safe and let it die. That is definitely a tough question. I'm not going to tell y'all what to do. Some of you are vaccinated. Some of you know your own health. Some of you know your limits. Not going to lie, there's a con coming up in September that is, for now, going to happen. It's one of my favorite little cons in the Midwest. I'm gonna give him a free shout out, Ramen Con Chris. You owe me money for this plug. Hashtag not sponsored, but maybe one day it will be sponsored. You know, if you want these free plugs, I was there when you started your con. I was one of your first guests. We were one of your first guests.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, don't forget about this. Anyways, when it comes to a con like that, I know the family that started it. They helped us on our professional journey in the cosplay and Comic Con, Anime Con life. I'll never forget the opportunity they provided us.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hate to see an event like that die. Everyone has a convention that means something to them. You may have met your best friend. This may have been an important event for you. A milestone may have happened. You may have cosplayed for the first time. Something happened that changed your life. Long story short, certain conventions hold special places in people's hearts. It would be a tragedy to see that event go away because of COVID, you know? We've already lost so much. We've lost careers. We've lost our favorite restaurants. We've lost a lot. Now you're in this position to where you can make a difference. You can help save this event at the cost of your health and public backlash. Regardless of your reason for going, there's going to be someone in the community that's going to make you the example. Someone's going to call you out. Sad, but that's the truth of the cosplay community. If you have people that got beef with you, or people that have been looking for an excuse to come after you, this is going to be the first thing they use. So-and-so went to Colossalcon. Look at them be irresponsible. I'm in that boat. As I said at the beginning and last week, my cousin passed away from COVID. As we said last week, my brother and her dad got COVID, and they both almost died. Oh, that is a great, easy headline to be like, fan service Renji, a big hypocrite, telling people to be careful about COVID, but now he's at Colossalcon having drinks in the hot tub bar. It's right there, and that could easily be anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever posted something about please wear a mask, stay safe, and you get caught at a con, best believe that hater that's secretly been in your friends list for years, that's the first thing they're going to pull out.
Oh, yeah. I follow this YouTuber. This YouTuber has been a really big advocate for quarantining, staying safe, social distancing. If she goes to the store, she's wearing a mask and staying away from people and getting what she needs and, you know, leaving right away. She has 3 kids, and one of them was having a birthday, and she felt bad for her child because her kid already missed one of his birthdays last year during when COVID was like at its peak and everybody was like trying to quarantine and whatnot. And even then she was still like, you know, it's my baby's birthday, but you know, we're going to stay in, we're going to do family stuff. This year she rented out an entire movie theater, had nobody else in it except for her and her kids and maybe like 2 or 3 of her kids' friends.
Yeah.
And maybe they're like mom or dad or whatever, but they were all in separate parts of the theater.
Yeah.
It's a big ass theater.
Oh, yeah. Even a small theater sits at least 100 people.
Oh, yeah. So these people were massively social distance from each other. But the kid still had his birthday, still had a good time. And her fans and her followers were giving her such big controversy and backlash with it. They're like, oh, you're such a big advocate for quarantining, but look at you now up in a theater having your child's birthday and there's people in there. I see the people in the background. She's like, first of all, y'all know me. I've been saying nothing but quarantine yourself. Be safe. If you're going to do something and go out, at least be safe about it. She was like, y'all got some nerve coming at me with this bullshit, with this backlash, talking to me about quarantining, about, now I'm out here doing the same things that I told you not to do and call me a hypocrite and stuff like that. She's like, if anything, me and my family earned this. We bought out this entire theater. We deserve to have one day together where my kid can enjoy his birthday and his friends. Social distance still. He's not touching anybody, not talking to anybody, nothing. They were just in this theater minding their own business. But she's like, I'm the one who deserves it because I haven't gone anywhere. She's only gone to the store and that's it. It was just so hard to see that because people were giving her so much shit about it, something like that. So I know people are out there doing that shit. It's so unfair.
Yeah, it's sad. People are out there waiting. They're waiting for this. Ha, I got you. I've been hating on you for 10 years, but now I got some dirt on you.
Because this YouTuber is also an advocate for doing the right thing, and she's always talking, and she comes off a little preachy at times, but I get where her followers are coming from in that stance. It's like, oh, little Miss Perfect out here at a movie theater with her kids. And it's like, no, this is not the situation where y'all should be doing that shit. She's been the one. She's been the one staying at home and not doing that kind of thing. And she was right. She's like, I deserve a day out. I deserve this one thing while y'all are out there going to the club, going to Denny's, going to things you shouldn't be doing, unnecessary things.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
It's funny you mentioned that because I had a moment like that in my head. All quarantine, she's been preaching and bitching about everyone else going out.
Yeah.
How could you do this? It's not safe. She was getting emotional. I haven't seen my parents since lockdown began because they're over the age of 60. And she just went in. Then she started getting mad about how she couldn't get her vaccine and so on. And she's like, y'all just getting your vaccines and going out there and being stupid. I just want my vaccine so I can go see my parents. Fast forward to last week. She got her first vaccine shot. The next day, she was at Applebee's or Chili's, one of these casual restaurants with a group of 20 people celebrating someone's birthday.
What? Applebee's? Really?
Really? Is this how you want to die? Applebee's.
An Applebee's?
Half off appetizers. And they took a picture of their entire group. That's how I knew how many people were there. First off, I was like, damn, Applebee's, y'all gonna sit down 20 people at a table?
At the same table?
At the same table.
Oh, wow.
Because they were one party. And in this picture, none of them had masks on.
Oh, God.
As much as I don't have any beef with her, as much as I don't have any ill intent towards her, I wanted to be the, what happened to seeing your parents guy?
Way to stick it to Instagram. Look at me at Applebee's. I got one shot, one of my doses, but even though I need two, but I'm just sticking it to Instagram and social media and showing them what's what.
And even that, she didn't even wait 2 weeks for the first shot to set in.
The very next day.
Less than 24 hours later, she was up at Applebee's just living her best life.
Way to show everybody what you can do.
God, her tombstone's going to say, I died for half off appetizers at Applebee's and $5 Long Island iced teas.
And it was worth it, man.
And I was like, girl, at least you could have lied about that and post a picture with your parents. That's the first picture you could have took. But the first picture you took was, I was at Applebee's with 20 people.
Save face. Save face, girl. Save face.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
She sure showed us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What? I hope they charge you for parking.
Parking at an Applebee's? That'd be some new shit. Due to the quarantine, we gotta charge you for parking. Oh, wow.
Because that's what you get. Applebee's, though, At least go to Ruby Tuesday.
I know Ruby Tuesdays is where it's at. Applebee's. What are you, 16?
At least go to TGF Fridays.
I know. Applebee's is like a step up from like Steak and Shake for high schoolers. Man, Applebee's was the shit when you took a girl on a date to Applebee's.
I had never in my life. I've been there maybe like twice in my whole life.
Oh, no. Sorry. Olive Garden. That was the spot.
Oh, yeah. That was fancy.
Oh, yeah.
That was like taking someone to Sizzler.
You was getting laid if you went to Olive Garden.
Oh, my God.
God, I remember a girl took me to Olive Garden. I thought we was just friends, but I had to put out those.
The garlic bread.
No, those unlimited breadsticks. I didn't even like this girl like that, but as soon as we pulled in the parking lot, I dropped my drawers. Like, what do you want me to do?
She took your ass to Red Lobster.
Oh my God, no. We don't talk about
the crop.
We don't talk about girls taking me to Red Lobster. I put my face in places they shouldn't have been. Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about staying safe and disinfecting ourselves. Anyways, all right, so let's get into our experiences at Colossalcon. I know you started getting into it. A lot of people ask me, I'm sure they ask you too all the time, is this con worth going to? They see us go to a lot of cons in the Midwest, West Coast. We've been to some East Coast cons. So a lot of people do ask. So the question is, does Colossalcon live up to the hype for you? So just to put in context, Shana and I were at Colossalcon in 2010 and 2012. This was right before the popularity boom happened in like 2014, 2015, I want to say. For those that don't know about Colossalcon before it got hype, the reason it got hype was, I believe it was Accent or MLZ, one of the OGs of cosplay music videos. They filmed Colossalcon. And for the first time, people got to see a convention at a water park. They got like a safari where you can ride a camel. You can go in a bird cage and the birds poop all over you. And it was something like you've never seen before.
Right.
And that year, all the cosplay celebrities went, for lack of better words. Jessica Negri was there, and just name your favorite popular cosplayer at the time. They were there. So since they co-signed it, everyone got hyped about it. It became a thing after that. It became like the con to go to.
Right.
Because on paper, why wouldn't you want to go? They have a lot of things to offer, like Cedar Point and Six Flags is down the street. Like, this was the street for amusement parks and resorts. On top of all that, all the best photographers, all the best videographers, and all the best cosplayers were there. It's the place to see cosplayers, and it's also a place to be seen. A lot of people had their viral moments because they went to Colossalcon. So those were some of the selling points once it got hype. But what a lot of people don't talk about is how if you don't get there on Thursday, you can't even park your car. Even if you're staying at the hotel. If you're staying at the actual resort, parking is gone. This includes parking on the grass illegally and wherever they could fit you. It wasn't like that when we went, and we still have these certain opinions, but these are just some of the things that people experience now. All right, so let's get into 2010. Your first thoughts.
So this convention, I didn't know what to expect because that was around the time where I had only gone to one other convention outside of the state where I was from, Chicago. And Chicago's the state. Chicago is the state. No one knows anything else about Illinois.
Nobody knows the rest of Illinois.
I had to catch myself on that. I'm like, yeah, Chicago's the state. Anyways, so I'd only gone to one other convention besides ASIN. I had only been to OhioCon, which was in Columbus, a more populated, more popular part of Ohio. Colossalcon was in Sandusky.
You only go to Sandusky if you're going to one of the theme parks, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And so my very first impression about Colossalcon was it was very dinky, very just, I want to say, old school, like they had just started or they had just found a place that was empty or happened to be looking for people to rent it out.
Yeah.
It was like one of those. Like it was like it reminded me of like a pop up kind of thing where it didn't really feel like it should have been there.
Yeah, to me, it felt like '07 Youmacon.
Yeah.
4 hallways and it was done.
Like a show and tell showcase kind of thing where you walk around it once and you've seen the whole thing. I will say this though, when it came to MLZ and Axon's video showcasing Colossalcon for what it was, his videos in general are just very, very beautiful. They're very like striking. He does like a colorful themes. He puts like a nice catchy song behind it and everything. And he was just a very good cosplay videographer. And
also at the time, he was the only cosplay videographer until MLZ became his Jedi apprentice and learned how to shoot videos. So yeah, during that time, there was nobody else shooting videos.
He could have gone to the butt F of the middle of nowhere and made it look beautiful. He could have spit on it, polished it up a little bit, and made it look so beautiful and eye-catching.
Yeah.
That was just his videos. And I will 100% give him credit for making a shitty place look better than what it was.
Yeah. Shout out to Axon L from Canada, the OG godfather of cosplay music videos.
Yes.
A lot of y'all that shoot cosplay music videos now don't even know where this came from. So y'all better do your Googles, as they say on the
research.
Yeah, do your Googles, as they say on the Breakfast Club, and recognize where this art form came from. One quick note that I want to say about Axon, I've gone to cons where I had a shitty time and I just cursed the con out on my drive home. But then I watched a cosplay music video. I was like, oh my God, I missed that con.
I know.
It was so beautiful.
He had a way of making things just look so damn good.
Even though I had a shitty time, but I watched his videos and I was all in my feels, maybe it wasn't that bad after all.
He can make 7-Eleven look like the best place on earth to be.
No, with those stylistic shots of the hot dog on the rollers.
Oh yeah, he does like the 360 and he like zooms in, he gets all the colors and everybody like wearing the same cosplay as the background will come together and do like a quick little cute little thing and a dance. He had like choreography in these things too.
He could have zoomed in on a moldy hot dog and you'd be like, oh my God, I want a hot dog right now. But anyways, back to Colossalcon.
So you guys catch my drift. He made Colossalcon look so beautiful, and I understand where all the people who are flocking to it nowadays came from.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when you initially walk through Colossalcon, you don't put two and two together. Like the exotic animals and the water park are a part of the convention.
Yeah.
Because during that time, there is normies, normal people who aren't there for the convention, who are there for the park. They're there for everything else, but Colossalcon is separate from that. It wasn't until I want to say around 2014 or whenever Axon did the video is when they kind of like merged together and made it like one cohesive thing.
Yeah.
But if you were just there for Colossalcon, you wouldn't have thought like you could walk around and see the rest of the resort. And that's how I experienced Colossalcon my very first time there. I had happened to see the exotic animals and the baby tigers, and I saw the parrots, and I saw everything that was there. And the water park, but I didn't purposely go over there because I'm thinking that's something different. So that's why I wanted to draw that picture, because Axon made it seem like this was a whole cohesive pizza that was together, but it's not. And unless you go over there, you're not going to know it's there.
Unless you had a pass to the water park or a pass to safari.
But the way Axon made it look, it made me want to go back to the convention. I'm like, wait, I know I saw that, but I don't think I really did all of the things that you're supposed to do. And I'm like thinking that it's all one thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. I was there.
Yeah, same. In 2010 and 2012, I didn't even know you could go to the water park.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a safari. The only water park I saw was the indoor water park.
Yeah, that too.
I didn't even know there was an arcade downstairs.
I didn't even know that either.
I didn't know about any of this until I watched Axon's video. I'm like, man, this shit been here the whole time? I was mad because none of my other friends said anything either. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one, because nobody said anything. So I'm just like, okay, that's all there is to this con? Because judging it from just the convention
I was just about to
standpoint,
say that.
minus the water park, minus the safari, minus the arcade, and only the hallways the convention was in, in 2010 and 2012, there was, 4 hallways worth
Yeah.
of convention,
Yeah.
and that was it.
hmm The way Colossalcon is set up, it made sense to why there was only one parking lot for the whole thing. I'm like, why would they only have one parking lot? And it wasn't even a big parking lot. It was just only for that convention center, and the convention center itself isn't that big. But until you add in all the people who are at the Kalahari or at the Safari Zone, whatever they call it, then that's when the traffic comes in, and that's when people don't know where to park, and it just becomes a whole bigger thing than what it actually is.
Yeah. So for me, both those years, I can just group them
It was
together.
boring.
Yeah. It was very boring for me, convention-wise only.
Yeah.
I attended a few panels. We went to the dance, and it was like mediocre.
Mhm.
I usually look forward to the dance or the rave or whatever the convention wants to call
Even
it.
that was small. It was like in a
Yeah.
little like closet space.
Yeah. Of course, coming from ASIN or
Oh, yeah.
Youmacon, we're very spoiled by these very elaborate setups.
Mhm.
And still to this day, I give Soap Bubble the title as probably one of the
Oh
best
yeah.
convention raves of all time.
Of all time.
And then Yomacon's up there too. Like, I love how Youmacon makes it an effort and they put it in a big ass ballroom. But you go to like Anime Expo, you would think they would shut down the block. But Anime Expo just has it in a small ass room,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, they can probably fit like 500 people in here.
It's not memorable.
No, it's like a little dinky stage. It's a regular ass panel room. It's because they share the other half of the space with the Cosplay Deviant Lounge. And so
Oh yeah.
so they split what space could be for the rave with them,
Mhm.
and they have their own thing. But even that's like a small dinky room. But you fast forward to Anime Central. Shout out to DJ Scott Akonda, who's
Yes.
head of the Soap Bubble. That rave be like epic.
Mhm.
We've only been to one rave bigger than the Soap Bubble at Anime Central, and that was Otakon in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. That was massive.
That was disgusting how many people were in that room.
They can't have no COVID safe soap bubble rave thing.
The production on stage wasn't as elaborate,
Mhm.
but that room capacity, it said on the door like 2,000 could be seated. 2,000 sitting.
But take all the seats.
Yeah,
That's
take
an
out
arena.
all the seats. And that room was at maximum capacity. There was over 2,500 people. I performed that year.
That was a show, though.
Yeah.
They had like these massive projectors and screens
Yeah.
everywhere. Sound system was top-notch quality.
Yeah, we were
Oh my god.
we were both performing because we were both dancers on stage, but I also got to sing on stage too. And looking in that crowd and seeing the waves of bodies, that was crazy. But anyways, that's a whole another story. So we've seen our fair share of conventions.
Mhm.
And going to Colossalcon, those 2 years, I just wasn't very impressed on the convention side.
Mhm.
Just the main events I did attend, I was like, okay, that's cool. And out of all the conventions I'd gone to by the time, I had never been so bored just walking the hallways.
Mhm.
Maybe it could have been because everyone is so spread out.
Yeah.
Because, again, I didn't know about all the other parts of it, but apparently a lot of my friends didn't either.
Mhm.
Yeah, after going there in 2010 and 2012, we just never went back.
It was. I have to say it again. Accent made it look better and bigger than what it was. They really should have paid him for a commercial to advertise this thing because honestly, if anybody could have made that convention look spotless and top notch, it would have been him.
Oh, yeah. They definitely owe Accent some money.
They owe him some money because now I'm thinking back on the video. I'm like, I want to go back to Colossalcon too, But it wasn't a big deal, and my experience there, to wrap it up, was just very mediocre. It wasn't a big deal in my book. It just wasn't that kind of a convention to me.
When we went back in 2012, I only went because I was a guest that year. And boy, did I have a terrible time as a guest. They just treated me like shit. I couldn't say it was like the concierge's fault, but it was the people that were supposed to handle me as a guest. They just treated me like shit the entire time. I just had to figure things out as I went. And then when it was time for me to perform, I was just disrespected backstage. And then for some reason, people decided to make up things about me at the con,
Mm-hmm.
saying I was backstage destroying props and ruining people's cosplay before they went on stage. Yeah, and then like there was one example that I took a girl's helmet, some girl that was cosplaying Starscream from Transformers. Someone was bold enough to say, I took this girl's helmet and stomped on it backstage, and she was in tears that she couldn't go on stage with her cosplay. Fast forward to the actual masquerade, and you watch the video. Guess who shows up on stage with full cosplay
Mm-hmm.
without a destroyed helmet? Starscream, the girl that I just supposedly destroyed her helmet. Anyways, enough about my personal experience in that way. But just overall, as a con, I just didn't have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that first year, if I didn't meet Shana, that con would have been a whole wash. I think it was on Saturday. We met up and we just talked by the fireplace towards the lobby for like 3 hours. And we didn't do anything. We just sat there.
Convention will always have a part of my heart because that's where I met Renji, and it will always be iconic for that reason. But other than that, like just if I were to go there and like try to have a good time, unless someone had a villa or like unless this was a COVID-free world and we can all get a villa and all meet up and have to throw a massive party, then I really don't see a point of being there. That area is just one lone strip of nothing but maybe a Steak and Shake, maybe a Sonic's, a Walmart, and Colossalcon and Kalahari, and that's it.
Yeah. Just to be fair, just because we didn't enjoy it, that's still not enough for us to be like, don't go, don't go. Take this information how you will. Hopefully it helps you make a decision if you want to go. It's obviously still not safe. I've heard people brag about how their entire room is vaccinated. That's cool and all, but do you plan to spend the entire convention in the room with those same people? No. You're going to go out and venture into the rest of the convention with many people who aren't vaccinated, normies and cosplayers alike. So...
And if you thought people didn't care about COVID in bigger cities, this is an even smaller city where they probably don't even know COVID's even a thing.
And people are traveling there from different states with different regulations. So just because your room's vaccinated doesn't mean everyone else is.
The locals there probably don't give a shit.
Yeah, and just because you're vaccinated, it doesn't mean you're 100% safe either. And I know some of y'all be going to cons to hook up and get all nasty and putting tongues in places that they shouldn't be or places they should be. And I know you ain't sanitizing your tongue and ain't sanitizing your lower regions, so you're still at risk. And that's just the way it is. Your room can be vaccinated, but that don't mean shit, really, honestly. It's like there's still cases of people catching COVID despite them being vaccinated. So
the vaccine is not a cure.
yeah.
So you could still possibly catch it. They don't know yet. It's still pretty new. Just be safe. At the very end of it, that's all I can say. I can't stop people from doing things. And if you already made plans to do these kinds of things and go to this convention, then do what you can to prevent yourself and others from getting in the way of COVID and getting in the way of being exposed to germs and things of that nature.
Yeah, just to bring it back, like we said, it is a very iffy situation. If this con means a lot to you, then I understand why you're compelled to save it. Because like I said about Ramen Con, which is in September, I'm going to feel like shit if that con is open and it just dies.
Right.
You know?
Just because they opened because they were trying to at least try to see where would it go.
Yeah, and because they were forced to.
Right.
Anyways, Colossalcon is happening. Despite how you may feel about it, just understand your friends are going to go. Some people have been keeping hush and some people have been being public about it. Be prepared to act accordingly. If you are super pro quarantine and you've been talking all this shit, saying stuff like, if you go to a con, we're not friends anymore. Well, then please be prepared to unfriend these people to make a point. So I commend you for going that far because honestly, it's shit like that that may prevent people from risking their health even more. We are all struggling one way or another, so all I can say is whatever you decide to do, just be safe about it.
Yep.
Protect yourself and protect the people around you. Also be considerate of the people you're bringing all this back to. So if you about to go to any event and get all nasty and be close to people, think about the people you're bringing that home to. If you live with your parents, if you live with people that have very weak immune systems, you got to think about them too. I had to cancel a photo shoot gig today. I was set to make $200 easy, but because I had to go to this funeral, I had to cancel this shoot to be safe for my client. She has a child with a weak immune system. Though I got my first vaccination, I still didn't want to put my client and her family at risk.
Yeah, 'cause it's been a long 7 day with family and grieving family members, and yeah, that just happened last week. So it's still like in their fresh in their minds. Like, well, you were exposed, possibly exposed, so I don't want to bring that back home to my kid. And
So that's what you got to think about too.
I do want to point out one more thing. If you don't want to expose yourself and go to these conventions, there's other ways to help this convention out if you don't want to see them fail. If you go to their website, any convention website, there's always an About Me section or a Donate section. There's still a way to help that organization out.
If they don't have a donate section, you can always buy a badge. Not only are you contributing financially, you're limiting the number of people that can be there. That's probably a better solution than donating.
Yeah.
Buy a badge. That's one less person that can be there. Because if you donate, they could still sell a badge and more people can come. So that goes along the same line of the YouTuber you're talking about buying out a theater. Buy these badges out to buy up space at the con. So that's a great point.
At least they can make their money.
Yeah, you're still helping this convention make money and yet keeping yourself and the other attendees safe. All right, guys, let's cut this podcast off. As always, make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and make sure y'all follow us on Twitch. It's a great way to interact with us live. We do this thing called Pajama Party on Fridays, and it's just a great time for everyone involved. We play a lot of video games. We have a couple drinks. We talk a lot of shit, but it's just a fun time because y'all can interact. Y'all can tell us your stories. Y'all can ask questions like live in person. Make sure you follow Shana on OnlyFans. She's been putting out a lot of content that you don't see on her other social medias. It's free to subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Shinobi Squad podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.